two of the top contenders in this split thus far. Well, based on the superiority coming from the mid and jungle laners of DWG, DAMWON was able to secure that game one. DRX showcased very exotic picks, and when we first saw the pick from Senna coming from DRX, seemed like DAMWON's going to have a very comfortable phase in that draft phase. However, the Heimerdinger pick completely changed the landscape of that draft phase. Senna Camille were both very versatile, which DRX picked up. However, DRX usually utilize Camille for Doran, and in a blatant fashion. And maybe they could have followed up with some bans in the mid lane. In the end, utilization of Senna and Heimerdinger to pressure the bot lane to win that laning phase was the intention of DRX, which they probably had some data on in their scrimmages and simulations. And then the landscape of that bot lane got completely crushed due to some of the incidents that occurred in the bot lane. And therefore, DAMWON was able to continuously showcase their explosiveness throughout the entirety of this game. There are a lot of combats here and there in this game. There is a key feature in this game, right? Yeah, the mid and jungle lanes were completely dismantled for DRX. And here, a big blunder essentially just ruined the entire game for DRX. Here, unconventional ADCs, with an exception of Syndra, usually have to be on their back feet. And once the Lost Chapter is equipped for the unorthodox ADC, they can push the lane out. However, DRX wasn't able to recall on time to get that Lost Chapter, and therefore they got their waves constantly shoved in towards them. Fundamentally, Heimerdinger should have recalled first, purchased their Lost Chapter, and TP back to the lane to shove out the wave. Once that didn't happen, not only taking the dragon itself was pivotal, but also Helios was able to get a BF sword and come back to the lane, which allowed Thresh to roam freely in the other lanes, where Thresh contributed in killing Jace at the top lane, which also flipped the landscape of that top lane as well. So DAMWON knew exactly where the strengths and weaknesses of this unconventional ADC is, based on that presence of Lost Chapter or not, and DAMWON was able to capitalize on that moment. Well, the timing where Lost Chapter should have been there was gone, and the entire game was gone away from DRX. Right now is our turn, says DAMWON Gaming. Right here, DRX tried to move slightly forward to go for a trade, and as soon as they saw Zed coming in, they tried to disengage ASAP, however they failed to do so. And this is the most ideal landscape for Zed to engage upon. Here, using Yomu along with heal, keep pushing forward, and also allowed Canyon to live. Is this even a champion? Well, showing off a very high sustainability from Canyon, as well as Showmaker cleaning up the rest of the combat. Very impressive. And in vacuum, the Camille pick may have been effective. However, the landscape of the bot lane just completely changed everything. And if things went differently, then the dynamics of the laning phases would have gone differently as well. Here, when Camille was able to pressure a potential solo kill onto Zoe, and the top was winning in the first place, so everything would have gone differently. However, due to that misplay from DRX, the game just completely went out of their hands. And Canyon's showstopper, along with Showmaker's brilliant plays, contributed heavily to DAMWON's Game 1 victory. Alright, let's meet who the player of the game is for this game 1. Will be 1 out of the 2. It's Canyon, 600 points, 9-0-11. He's the only jungler with pentakill in LCK, and he delineated why he achieved such a feat. It's very rare to see a set where his accuracy and getting the skill shots this highly. And also he soaked up immense amount of damage, and yet he ended up surviving. So it was a moment of fluster for DRX and frustration as well. And here also we were able to witness that DRX's champions' ults didn't align correctly. However, and then Kennen was able to stun 3 champions simultaneously, which also helped in Set's survival as well. And here once again, it's Canyon show-stopping champion, Heimerdinger, and then gets rid of him instantaneously. And it was 11 out of 12, with 1 vote going to Showmaker. In the voice comp, Noguri was saying, "What are you, Canyon?" Indicating that Canyon's been popping off lately. DAMWON was able to get the dub in game 1. Let's see how game 2 will pan out.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you, LS, for the fantastic voting there. Bringing down the average for us analysts here.
He was my second vote.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Canyon?
Yeah,
Was?
he would have been my second vote.
All right, yeah.
There's an interesting thing about the player of the game votes that I think will come out next week in regards to the English broadcast.
Okay.
In terms of the accuracy.
You're not going to spoil?
I'm not going to spoiler it.
You're not going to spoiler it? Okay. But it's coming soon.
This was definitely a bit off.
Yeah, this might have brought down the average a little bit. Yeah.
Well,
it's okay. I mean, Showmaker had a good game too, but
he did.
It wasn't the majority vote this time around. And we've seen DRX get into positions like this. Obviously, CV Max, a very famous coach right now. I'm very curious to see how they handled that bad of a loss. I mean, they got that. I don't even have words to describe how badly they got smashed. Like, it wasn't close. It kind of looks like a freak up against a 10th place team, if you know what I mean. They were like breaking records, and that's not what everybody expected from this series. Everybody expected a very close, best of 3. We're going to game 3. We're going the distance. But DAMWON just come out here and really just pop the lid off of everything. And now I really want to see if they have the mental fortitude to come back, because if they don't, if they can't do it in a best of 3, how can they do it in a best of 5?
Well, DAMWON, they're banning away Ezreal right now. And all of DRX right now looking a little bit flustered. Kalista and Pantheon now being banned away. And the worrying thing here is that, remember, DRX was just on red side. They should have been able to use that, especially with the picks that they had present leading into R5. But they didn't. So now what's going to happen going in blind? Because realistically, nothing last game was super influential that you would be like, well, I'm very afraid of that B1. Everything was pretty reasonable that could just flow through the draft, and so we'll see what happens here. As Set is going to be banned away.
Yeah, and it's difficult too because, you can ban away these 3 champions, but it's not like Canyon's a one-trick Set player or anything like that. It really shows how good of a player he is to be able to pop off on many different champions, and so it makes it even more difficult to ban out one certain team. And it's not even like Set is super overpowered either, so getting a ban like that on blue side is definitely very beneficial for DAMWON. They're going to leave TF available. That was banned by DRX second on red side last time, but this time it sneaks through.
We'll see how DAMWON want to reply to this now. Hovering Camille themselves and Galio.
Okay.
So it's just going to be the 1-2 punch combo out of DAMWON. They, I suppose, don't want to potentially give away any of the pieces, and now we know what their comp is going to be sculpted around, and Doran is going to get his pick of the litter.
Oh.
I mean, it's pretty much the same.
Olaf.
You know, let's be honest here.
Olaf.
This is interesting because it actually sets up for Jarvan to come in now on R3, which is hilarious because then he goes with the pieces that much better. Chovy gave you the eye.
B3 Renekton.
I've heard,
yes, do it! Okay.
Heard murmurs.
Yeah, have you?
Yeah.
Of what? Support Renekton? What do you hear?
Things that come online earlier than R5. Right now,
Oh,
you know?
okay. Yeah, B3
One of those.
Renekton.
It's definitely one of those things.
Renekton is just the laughing stock right now of the English broadcast of the LCK. And they're thinking about the Senna here. Okay, they're going to lock that in.
Senna's a really good pick in this spot. You know that DRX are forced to come into you now, even though DAMWON opened with Camille Galio, which is bringing it into the opponents. And so, Senna, very good at both modes. Very good at protect and very good at enabling the dive
Attack.
here. Yeah, very good at enabling into the Renekton and the Olaf. And the Jarvan has to be on DRX's mind because it's bread and butter with Camille Galio, and in a vacuum beats the Olaf. So it's very problematic as well for TF, and it restricts a lot of AD carries in the meta. So R4J4 could be a very strong pick as Aphelios.
Ooh.
Very good
I love
against
it.
hard-on engage.
Yeah,
A very good ban by DAMWON here.
it absolutely is. And the Karma too, I mean, you can avoid a lot of dive and play very defensive, you know, keep them at arm's length kind of Karma style, and obviously enables Olaf Renekton alongside of it. So a couple of strong bans there from DAMWON. The Heimerdinger gets banned here, which is interesting. I mean, it's good into a lot of melee and short range, so that was not a bad ban, as Nidalee also is going to be taken away here.
Yeah. Nidalee ban a little, yeah, there. I don't know what the Nidalee, I don't know what the Nidalee ban is.
Okay.
Oh!
Oh,
Little-
God.
All right. Hello.
Look at his mouth. He's so excited.
Oh,
Get me in there, coach.
I'm
That's
getting
what he's saying.
some hot flashes right now. I'm gonna need some ice cubes up here.
Canyon, too. Throwing down the Karthus, and now we just have Zaya Rakan.
I mean, it is. It has to be satire at this point. I mean, the opponents have Camille Galio and a Karthus, and you pick more hard-on engage. So DAMWON get the best of both worlds. If they're ahead, they can go hard on you. You don't have a really good way to juggle it. If you're ahead, DAMWON, their champions love when you're coming into them, and they get to just pull aggro. And Tom, in what world is he a somewhat good R5 pick? You have to have really done goofed
Yeah.
for this to be a situation. DAMWON are just, they're in heaven right now.
Yeah.
Where they are. And I don't know,
Well-
I don't need to use the other H word to describe from where DRX is
Yeah,
invoking
I
their
mean-
draft, but
We saw game one, and there were some question marks where we were like, you know, we would have liked the Heimerdinger into Zoe. There was a couple of knife edge matchups that didn't go their way from DRX. This one just looks like a straight up draft stomp from DAMWON, to be honest. Like, this is even more in the direction of, like, this is not like, oh, okay, yeah, DRX have some outs. This is more like, no, I mean, DAMWON kind of just got the best of all worlds here.
they got pretty much, I think, everything that they could really hope for. They have vacuum answers pretty much across the board. Their team composition is more cohesive. It has more gears available to it. And there's just so much power inside of the team composition. Even if it ends up falling behind, they still have legs to stand on because of the nature of their champions. It's just really good. Galio, I mean, it's the type of champion that doesn't even really harm Karthus that much, even though it's another source of magic damage. Generally, you want to keep that out of the team comp when you have Karthus. It's one of his conditional, unspoken factors, but I think in a game like this, it's definitely passable. I think TF can still get Merc Treads, but no one else on the team is really incentivized to get magic resistance, and so Karthus is happy. I'm happy.
Yeah, you're definitely happy.
The viewers are happy. Player of the game standing is not so happy about that. But.
Yeah. I guess that takes, maybe 10% off your happiness.
Coin Emperor Tom Kench. It's the best skin.
Yeah.
He knows what's important.
I think you were talking about that last year when
yeah.
when this came out.
Now it's Prestige Edition Teemo.
Yeah, well, there's a lot more coins you need to pick up that one, so I guess you can play Coin Emperor, save up your coins.
Speaking of Teemo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Yep.
There's so much unsealed spellbook in the LCK nowadays.
Yeah.
Everybody's taking it. Mid and support, specifically. Very common. You see it sometimes top lane. Like a cannon can take it. Something like that.
Well, let's see how everything ends up unfolding. Chovy is going to be auto-attacking the wave a lot. He actually elected to get E rank 1, so just lots of auto-attacks and trying to pressure with that.
It's, obviously good for pressure.
Yeah.
It costs no mana. The level 1 wild card is kind of like, does a tiny little bit, but
yep.
I like that Emax, or not Emax,
and, okay,
but first.
So we have a bit of a mini game.
Okay.
How long does Karthus take to full clear? So if he's really on point, so the general baseline is 305.
Mm-hmm.
It actually looks like he's kiting kind of bad, but general baseline is 305. It can be done earlier than 3 minutes, but that takes a little bit of bit of finesse.
Some snack oil, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So he's going for the lower HP route. I think we saw Dardoch in the LCS do the higher HP route where you leash the Raptors endlessly and you let the Talisman keep burning and resetting it over and over, and your HP just goes completely to full. But Canyon, he's here to play.
He's here to clear.
He's here to clear. He is on pace for that finish. And this lets Karthus apply it. Yeah, okay.
Let's just watch Karthus. He's not going to get 305 even.
Oh!
It's going to be close.
No. Oh, no, we messed up.
No, 306.
6.
No, that's not 305.
It could have been definitely a little bit faster. He also used
what are we doing here? What is this?
Well, it's going to be a wall of pain into...
Be pranking? Oh, he might actually get the kill here. Okay, never mind. Definitely going to nearly kill him, though, that's for sure. Bit of trading down on the bottom side, but not much to talk about there, as already Canyon having a nice little start here.
Yeah, and Canyon, I mean, he doesn't get the Scuttle Crab on the left-hand side, and so I'm very surprised. They know that Canyon went up into top lane, and you know that your Renekton's about to TP back in. And Chovy has control in mid lane. I thought Pioshik would have immediately push-kited the Scuttle Crab to the left, consumed that one, and ran into the river and got the other Scuttle Crab.
Ooh, this is going to be close. They're going in with the exhaust on Adept. He has to flash, but there's the tongue, and there's the shot. That's going to be first blood going over to Ghost. We're no longer role-playing down here in the bottom lane. We are taking names, and we are getting kills onto Deft.
Yeah, and a teleport coming in to deny them the CS. Ghost is going to back up now. We'll see what he ends up getting. And Karthus is going to keep going back on the wave clear. Chovy is going to be pretty important this game to try to stabilize things. And because it's a cannon minion, not any CS is going to be lost down there in bottom. And, the wall of pain to check. Canyon's gonna come in here. Pioshik, I mean, look at all of his camps. He's sinning out of his mind right now.
Yeah. He doesn't really need to be here, but he's gonna, I suppose, take, what, like 2-3 popcorn chickens away.
I mean, and he's moving up now. He's hoping that Karthus makes a blunder. Oh, Canyon!
Yeah, he's gonna have to flash here. We do have the blast cone. And
Oh!
so, okay, that was a little bit off, but I think that's the reason why Pioshik doesn't follow. He knows the blast cone's there, knows he would just get bopped back, doesn't waste it, so he gets that flash win over Canyon.
And so he immediately went for the golems. He's greeting really hard. He could have tried to wait right in the fog of war to the right of Karthus where he is, and then waited for Canyon to come check, and then maybe try to get him on that off chance, but he doesn't even try to account for it. And so while he's applying pressure to Karthus, it's not doing a whole lot. It's not stunting him because he's not really growing.
Stun here on a Nuggery. Does he have this? He does. He's going to hit into Pioshik and flash away, but here's TF. Going to get that stun down. Pioshik taking a lot of damage, and they don't have enough.
Oh.
Pioshik nearly dies going for the dive. As, I don't know about that, Nuggery. You're going to get flash on and die. Really, that was a bit of a whoopsie.
Yeah, he was trying to get range for Galio's ultimate in order to come up into top lane, but DRX just capitalized. And unfortunately, Requiem not yet available for DAMWON, although they're pushing in all the lanes. Blast Cone over the wall. Olaf.
Lane.
Yeah. Chovy, no Destiny.
He's running, though.
Yeah.
They got a ping onto the dragon. They want to check the dragon. I don't think they know that Canyon's here just yet, but they think he's doing this one as a bit of trading down there. Canyon not going to hit 6 off of those monsters there.
We're going to move back into his right-hand side jungle. He's going to get back to farming. And no, it's not going to be the Merc Treads on Chovy. He wants to keep up the heat, keep up the pressure. He goes Ionian Boots for that pressure. Requiem's available.
Oh, God. He is going to flash. And there you go. The flash on in from Showmaker locks it down. And that's the combo, guys. That's what you're going to be seeing a lot of between the two of them and the three of them, as Canyon from anywhere on the map can just support and get so much value.
This isn't just Twisted Fate dying. It's Twisted Fate dying and losing an entire cannon minion wave, plus all the CS, so his passive, this really stunts him. And when Twisted Fate opens Boots tier 2 and stunts his Rod of Ages, he has a Dark Seal in there as well. This is going to be a very late completion. Normally TF can complete Rod of Ages sometimes as early as 9 minutes because of his passive. We're almost at 8, and he doesn't even have a catalyst. So this really affects his mid-game team fighting because he's going to be missing a lot of AP, a lot of HP from the item stacks. They're not going to come online. I mean, this means that the threshold on him is just a lot easier, and Canyon is going to start cruising ahead of Olaf the longer that this game goes on.
Well, they're doing 4-man dive. We got TPs coming in, though. Barrel going to give them a little bit of a tongue on the way out. And that will be the end of that dive. So TP comes in, Barrel with the Unsealed Spellbook, making his presence known. They're not going to challenge here on the Rift Herald, though. This will go the way of DRX.
Well, they're going to get the Rift Herald. They're going to have to do something with it. It's already a 600 gold lead. Now, it does cost them 4 members doing this to make this play happen. So some CS, some gold did go into the void. And when that happens, you do have to remember that it did happen. So part of the Herald gold capture is sort of diminished in a way. Meanwhile, down in bot lane, Deft, he does have the call on the Xayah, so that'll eventually be completed. Ghost whipping the snare, but Deft did.
No. Yeah, that was a lot of feathers. Ghost, he's just going to chill their Barrel. We know him. He loves to walk around, loves to get mobile, giving a little bit of exercise to Sir Thomas Kench. So he's going to be there to help out with that one. The Galio is walking up top side. I think they're expecting another dive here.
Yeah.
And he wants to be here right away as he does not have the ultimate just yet.
Ooh, oh, yeah, Destiny comes out. They see the Gargoyle and his Grey Lady. And this is really good.
Yeah.
Canyon's in mid lane. He's there to pick up all the farm. And
it's not like an Olaf is picking this up. It's a Karthus, you know?
So it's a champion that can actually utilize the gold very well, likes the EXP. And remember, with the way of the jungle changes at level 9, when you hit that faster, you start accelerating even quicker ahead of your opponent. And so the faster that Karthus can get to level 9 is all the more important to cause the respawn on his camps. It's a mechanic that not a lot of people either acknowledge exists or remember. Requiem.
Well, here we go. We're trying to burst down Doran again, and he's just going to die through the ultimate, and Olaf is going to do absolutely nothing. They can easily dive him. That's another kill. Going the way of DAMWON, this time in the hands of Nuguri as a 2-for-0. The best friends forever, Galio and Camille. They line it up and take it down.
And I really love how DAMWON are utilizing their picks right now. Anytime the opponents are overextended, they know they have the excess damage from Karthus' Requiem to take the trades that otherwise would not really work. And they keep utilizing it, all the while just letting Karthus power farm. So it is adding such a bomb inside of the game that DRX can't really account for because it's such a razor's edge to really walk. And you know, this is part of the thing that we were talking about when the patch notes came out. We expected him to see more play, and then Spirit came out with the interview saying that he's a trash champion. And it's hilarious in reality.
Did he really say that? That's,
yeah.
What?
Yeah. That was
Maybe he didn't want other people to catch on. That's, I think, the 5-head move there, the 4D chess that he was playing, because that is obviously not true.
The hilarious thing I feel is, so Karthus has conditions, right? You can't just blind pick him, you can't R1, R2 him, you can't B1 him.
괜찮아. 나만 갈 수 있어서.
Right? Because otherwise, opponents can draft around him.
돼.
But
해봐.
we can do
얘
this.
노플.
He has no flash, he has no flash.
나이스. 얘까지 나 힐 있어요. 가자.
I appeal, let's go. I appeal. Nice.
야, 나 지렸는데 갈리오 뭐야 나. 야, 빨리 다 먹어. 밀어줄게.
Saying like, Galio's so sick, so good. It's like, what the hell is this? He's learning. He's like, oh, I can play Galio too. Why not? And they're really trying to bully Nuguri up here. They're not giving up on this. We've seen multiple attempted dives. Now we're going to see the Rift Herald dropped here. And they're going to land. Nice little combo. Keria is in the wings. Still trying to find some value with the Rakan. He's only level 6, so for now he's just kind of soaking XP. But here comes the Olaf. This time we don't see Showmaker nearby, but he's got teleport. Running up the wall. And this team, by the way, guys, is 4 globals. So,
yeah.
like, if you're trying to dive and you're trying to, like, make map plays, good luck. Because they have 4 globals, and they have 3 teleports, and they have an unsealed spellbook for one of the players who doesn't have teleport. So you're never going to win on a map play against DAMWON's team.
And this is the other thing, is that there's not even really a 1-3-1 for DRX that they can do. And in the team fights, they're having to run into DAMWON, which is just not something that can happen. But on the flip side, DRX's ability to juggle DAMWON coming into them, it just doesn't really exist. And Mountain coming up in 30 seconds, very important for both of these teams to try to get. As far as other itemization can go that we can talk about, Nuguri is going for the Trinity Force.
Here we go again.
Nice
He's going to dodge that one. Does he have the health to survive? There's the double taunt. The flash in from Doran isn't enough, and here comes Galio now, trying to help out with the knockup. Do they have the damage? The slice with the stun from Nuguri is massive, as finally the Q will come in from the TF. And now Showmaker's in a bit of trouble. He's going to have to walk into this turret, and he will eventually go down to the Xayah. But it took the teleport to come in from depth to help out to win that one.
Yeah, and this is going to draw Pyoshik down into bottom. And meanwhile, I mean, they are going to get the Mountain Dragon. So it's a pretty big victory for DRX in terms of gold. And you can see Deft up here. He's getting all the solo EXP. There's no teleport that he has to be afraid of. And now he's going to end up getting the first turret of the game for himself. They're funneling the gold into Xayah. She's a very heavy champion. What I mean by heavy is she requires a lot of gold to start to get the ball rolling. Mountain Drake did go over, though, to DAMWON, and so they are 2 dragons away from Soul Point. It was a really good gold card cancel with the Hextech Ultimatum. Dawning Shadow comes in to give the heal. Showmaker not quite getting the Justice Punch. The new Galio feature of granting the magic resistance shield on ultimate cast actually comes in handy. They managed to kill the Renekton, but Camille can't get line of sight in time via the bush, and then Showmaker has to just go into the turret, gives the kill over to Deft rather than Chovy, which honestly is a bit unfortunate, all things considered, because stunting Xayah would be definitely a lot better, especially because Deft wouldn't have had an assist, given that he hadn't yet dealt damage. So Showmaker was really trying to min-max his opportunity. That would have definitely been the play. Infernal Soul is the Drake of the game. DAMWON are down a little bit.
Yeah.
In the gold department, a lot of this is Twisted Fate's passive.
Yeah, he's stacking up the G. He's having fun. He is a pirate after all. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be scary. He's going to be getting a lot of items in this one, but are those items singularly on TF going to turn the tide? Because I would imagine that an Infernal Soul for Camille Garthis is going to be pretty scary as this one comes along.
Leandri's is going to be the first item as well.
Oh,
Fortunately, the days of Morello first have they've ended.
He's just subscribed to the Church of LS at this point. Like,
well,
Leandri Salesman just earned another Leandri subscriber.
3100, get yours today. That's exactly what you need to do.
And it does mean that, you know, he's not going to have the same amount of penetration because he also skips, it's not just Morello, you get the penetration from the Oblivion Orb. So he's going to skip that in lieu of going for the Haunting Guys and the Madness passive. So hoping that that will be enough, and he'll probably pick up, I guess, Void Staff eventually, as we do have some magic resist coming out.
The reason that Leandri's is so nice here is because there's so many members on the enemy team that they build HP and they continue to build HP in the later stages of the game. But after this, he has options with his next build. If other members begin to pick up magic resistance, he can go Void Staff as his third item. If they don't, he has options depending on what he wants to do. He can go Rylai's if he wants to provide more utility and coverage for his teammates, as well as make himself a little bit more durable. Or alternatively, he can just go Death Cap and try to power into that.
Or Magi's.
But yeah, with the game state being the way that it is, I think it would make most sense to go for Rylai's if they keep going ahead. If he thinks that there's going to be more of an even fight, then even Zanya's at that point begins to be valuable. But he can just rely on the Sork Pen boots, given that the only person that has MR right now is actually Pyoshik.
Yeah, I mean, there's Merc Treads on Rakan, but that doesn't really matter. It's not going to make too much of a difference here.
Nuguri with what I think is going to be the Triforce into the Death Stance, and this gives Camille so many more options in the game where she can slow push, pile up waves, or even freeze in the side lanes and then demand that the opponent come to her, whereas the traditional Tiamat into Triforce or the Triforce into Tiamat doesn't grant you those options, and there's not really a whole lot of upside, especially not when you're the champion that's outscaling the opponents and putting the onus on them to do something. So the gold advantage so far in this game, it's remained pretty stationary. This is a massive spike in the game, though, for DAMWON with their item completions, and you can see that even at this dragon fight, Chovy, I mean, his Rod of Ages is barely over halfway complete. Things are definitely going to be pretty weird, but this dragon, if DAMWON picks it up, things are such a nightmare.
Yeah, even the one Infernal Drake. It's going to begin just accelerating this composition more and more. And you can see both teams vying for position now around there. Nuguri has his TP. And I said it before, you can't really play a global game up against DAMWON, but if you get 5 members in the same place, then You're not going to have to make too much of a global play. You can see that Nuguri is going to be waiting until the fight actually begins, as Deft is just nearly going to die right just like that. And there we go. Nearly dies as there's Requiem. See you later. Nothing he can do, and the damage is way too much. Look at the other members too, they're burning so much health as Toby is going to be able to get that big stopwatch down, but he's going to get locked down by the Hextech Ultimatum. And Adoran, he tries, but he cannot at the end. Only Pyosik will survive for now. As Stopwatch may be able to save his life, but he's going to wait. The one and the flash actually is going to get him to live, so he's getting a little bit anticlimactic for DAMWON, but they still take a massive win in the team fight.
And now they're going to pick up the Baron for themselves. They'll use this to convert into the Infernal Capture. There's no real way for DRX to do anything about it, even though they're going to try. So...
Okay, well, slow. Yeah. He's going to get slowed, and the smite comes in from the Unsealed Spellbook. Down will go the Olaf, and down will go the Depths. Yeah. Really don't know why they were there. Maybe a little bit tilted trying to force the steal, but 2v5, it's not going to work. I mean, Olaf didn't have Flash or Ragnarok or anything, really, in this game. So Baron into Infernal, and DAMWON might just run away with this one in a 2-0 fashion.
I mean, this is what we predict at the start of the series, right? If you look at the first encounter that they had with one another, DAMWON looked like the better team. This time around, DAMWON find themselves with an absolutely holy draft advantage here. Whereas DRX are the ones with a bit of unholiness on their side. And it's just really hard to imagine a world where they can blunder this kind of a game. They're up almost 4,000 gold.
Take a look at this.
A better scaling draft, and yeah, we take a look. The Lei Waste just doing exactly what it does. It sets step up into lethal range. Canyon presses the R key. You can find that on your keyboard as well. And a multi-man Requiem with Leandri's burn ticking, it sets up so well for everyone else to just go in and do their thing. And Pyosik, I mean, he's not able to really do anything this game because, again, all the lanes. And then take a look at this one. He flashes out of the way. Here, Nuguri's gonna... Okay, they cut it, but...
They wanted to save him a little bit there. Pyosik, 1v1, Deft. I don't even know.
Well,
there you have it.
DAMWON are showing us what happens when you select DRX mode any %. That's what's going on here.
You're really good at speed running, I guess. And yeah, you can see the Matthias was bought here on the side of DAMWON, but it's not for the Karthus yet. It's for the Galio. And we don't even have a Dark Seal for Canyon, who would have had that stacked up. But that's okay. Still just stacking up the items. It looks like, well, he still has multiple options in terms of whatever item he is going to take. Might be Rylai's, might be the Void Staff. Let's see what he does eventually go into. But the world is their oyster now. You can see that the gold lead is like, kind of, you know, it's not that bad. A lot of that, I guarantee you, is the TF. As here's global number 1, there's number 2. Toby gonna use his global to try to fight back. In goes Nuguri and just smites him down from the exhaust that doesn't do enough to save the life of that poor Renekton.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why Toby is so far away from his turret. Let's see the Q. Boom. Actually, it's going to be Nuguri.
Yep.
Takes the kill. These fights are just so one-sided now that he's spamming the DragonX and the thumbs up. Showmaker has no chill in this mid lane right now.
And this is a massacre. Not even sure that they can actually upload this to YouTube.
I don't think children should be watching this.
Yeah, this is definitely an age restriction. It's going to be flagged for mature audiences only.
Yeah.
As this is Annihilation. Remember, this is first and second place in the LCK.
Yeah.
And they are tiers above every other team currently in the league. Obviously, Gen.G had a pretty nice fight against DRX. And then 4th and 5th place, a bit below the top 3, especially Afrika. T1, it depends which one shows up. As we take a look at the replay, I mean, Doron, he had a hot date. That's why he was running up to the minion wave that was coming into him, so that he could be overextended in the event that he would get collapsed on. And so he ends up going down. Chovy, I mean, he's going up for poke too, that he must know doesn't really do anything. He's probably tilted at this point.
Yeah. Canyon, though, I wasn't, you know, I think he could have timed that Q a little bit better.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not too impressed, to be quite honest. I think 2-0 and 8's not good enough. Missed that Q. Gave the kill to the Camille. Well, we're in a situation now that Karthus, 3 items, 4-level lead, by the way. Olaf, remember Olaf, B2, Renekton, B3. I mean, yes, the game was played out well by DAMWON here in game number 2, but the draft was just utter domination. I mean, it wasn't even close, really. DAMWON were essentially given pretty much every piece of the puzzle that they wanted here, and there wasn't much that DRX were doing to draft against it either. So I think in a couple of games in a row, DAMWON beat them in draft and also just played straight up better than them in the game.
It's really scary. All 4 of the top teams. So you really have to put an asterisk next to T1, because when T1 has a good draft, things get really interesting and scary. It's just that they tend to not have one about 80% of the time. So when any of the top teams have a very big draft edge, it always almost ends up in complete annihilation. Like, their opponents get incinerated. And this is going to be the last hurrah.
Canyon is taking a lot of damage as he's tanking up the Dragon. Nuggery just going to come in and pop on a door, and there's one lane waste. How about Global from the side of Senna? The steal will not happen. That will be the Infernal Soul go in the way of DAMWON, and already 2 of them are dead. Requiem comes in, thankfully.
Oh, Leandres?
2 of them had it. In terms of the stopwatch, Doran will survive for now.
Faulty.
Yeah.
Faulty, yeah. I didn't sell that one, I'll tell you that much.
Goblin Engineering.
Yeah.
They're just going to not even bother with their Renekton. They don't care about him. They don't respect him. 27 minutes, DAMWON crushed DRX in game 2. This was not a close series, guys. We had rank 1 against rank 2, and DAMWON are not scared to show it off. They say, I don't care about my KDA. Let's BM the enemy team. GG. 27.5 minutes. Absolute stomp. Twice in a row. As DAMWON really are looking to make a case and say, we are the best team in the LCK. Don't get it wrong.
Yeah. I mean, this was an annihilation like no other. All the DAMWON players feeling really good right now. Clearly on the stage. I am very happy. We got to see Karthus yet again. He came in at the right timing. Because like we were saying during the game, can't really R1, R2 him. It's too early. The opponents can still draft around him.
Yeah.
Can't really B2, B3 him either. Again, it's still too early. Generally, you'll see him R3, R4, R5 when conditions are met, where it's too late to sort of adapt your draft to answer him, and when he's really going to be enabled by his laners. So DAMWON, they found a really nice R4 spot. They were even hovering the other best jungler, Jarvan.
Yeah.
So they seemed really aware of what could be going on.
That's Zoe. That's gotta be Zoe. The skip. As we did have Pyosik, who is very well known for his celebrations, but Showmaker says, hey, we just took you out 2-0. Let me do one of my own. I like it.
Well, this is very bad news bears for DRX fans. It's not, you don't have to cry Armageddon, given that it's just losing to DAMWON, but it's a glimpse for the second time in a row what ends up happening when the DRX laners are basically being met with problems, because this is a glimpse of sort of worlds, because Pyosik, he can't do anything when the laners are pretty much getting maxed, and if Chovy's not having an insane day to be a pillar, because Deft has also been looking a little bit shaky here in Summer. So it's definitely worrisome.
Yeah. I think DAMWON just took the vulnerabilities of DRX and like, what is? There's some video game where someone like reaches into the heart and then like pulls it out. Is that Mortal Kombat?
Yeah. Fatality.
That's kind of like what it was. You know, it's like
does
here
that.
are your vulnerabilities. Let me take them out and show them to everybody. Like this is exactly what they look like. And only a team, I think, as good as DAMWON are even able to do that in that fashion, right? I mean, so many other teams, they got crushed by DRX.
This was a very surprising kill. If anyone would have asked if Ghost and Barrel could solo Deft and Carrier, probably everyone would say no. And you know, the other funny thing about a lot of these trade sequences is it really looked like DRX was not adjusted to playing with, or playing against Karthus. And some of the trades, Joby trying to get the ball rolling for his team, but not quite able to in the end. This was the Galio buff actually coming into effect.
Yeah.
Nuguri could have, I think, actually kited into the brush and done some Fog of War play. He would have lived a little bit longer. This was interesting. Def clicked away almost like he wasn't paying attention. And Showmaker could have died to Chobi to give the least gold over to the enemy team, but not quite able to in the end. Def not long for this world. I was surprised he wasn't cognizant of it in the moment that he was already dead to Karthusar, and in that case he would just keep running forward trying to dish out as much damage as you can, but it was really all she wrote. And, well, I don't know what to really... Oh, this one. Pioshik flashes out of the way because you know how it is, Velvis. He's talking Zug Zug.
Yeah. That's the one thing that Pioshik was able to show off in this game, I guess. I don't know what it is with the Renekton Olaf draft, too. Like, what are we really thinking? They see Camille, Galio, and they're like, you know what? Let's get lane prio against Nuguri. Let's try to get ganks off. Let's try to get an Olaf who can run through all the CC. And it's really taking it kind of at, I guess, face value. It's not really looking at all the different angles. And we saw a lot of the weaknesses.
들어가야 돼, 형, 들어가야 돼.
앞에 거부터, 앞에
거부터. 가야. 아, 나 궁극 켰다. 은호, 잡았어. 앞에 잘 막아 생각해. 일로 와! 앞에 잘 막아. 야, 이겼다! 드디어 잡았다! 야, 빨리 가. 나 탈퇴. 탈퇴 너무 좋아.
은호 오늘의 승리 픽?
아, 가뒀어요, 무조건.
Do you know today's winning
누에노
pick?
갈리오 첫판?
In like half English, half Korean.
하고나 가자 한번. 들어가자. 때려버리 한번. 없는데? 뭐야,
Do you know
어디였어?
Galio first game? That's, I
잠깐만.
guess maybe that was his.
간다. 가자. 응, 안 가?
네,
열심히 가고.
아, 좋다.
이걸 안 죽네?
Imagine it would have been, but now I'm curious. Yeah, no, it actually was. It's first time playing Galio this split.
And there is the damage graph at the end of the game. Now, I don't know if I'm about to get debated once again. I gave player of the game over to Showmaker again, so really hope the stats are not working against me here. His Galio ultimates, taunts, and so many other plays were so integral to so many of the plays. Canyon, he picked the best champ, but he pathed really well too. But mostly he was pressing R, and it was a lot of team effort to sort of get into things. So Showmaker was also making the move to the top, trying to drag Camille back in. That shows intent. You can read that on the mini-map. There was a lot of other aspects of intent, thank God.
Yeah, I mean, this one kind of seemed a little bit more obvious. The Showmaker picks it up. Pretty much every play that was made was called in by him. And we heard that on voice comms. He was always in the right place at the right time. First game Galio, he says. And even though it technically was for this split, obviously showing some insane, you know, just veterancy and experience on that pick. He gets so many great engages off, even ones like these. Lines it up so you can adjust his punch too, just in case the stopwatch comes out. we're going to have a look at the Hog standings, the player of the game standings after this one to see exactly where everybody fits in. As Chovy, unfortunately, today wasn't able to get any votes.
Now, the interesting thing is that a lot of people, they might have read my tweets about today as Chovy surpassing BDD, but everyone knows that it's LSAK Love Showmaker.
Oh, okay.
It's about getting him up in the standings. That's all, you know. Trying to make sure that DAMWON Gaming was very well fit on the leaderboards here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Fine. I agree.
A little bit wary.
Yeah.
You've been reading something about it.
No.
You've been reading the damn book again, haven't
So,
you?
the votes were 6 and 12. We had 1 for bot, 1 for jungle, 1 for top, 2 for jungle. What? I guess they're not all calculated up, but yeah. Either way, guys, we do have the interview, so I'm going to hand it over to Brian.
All right, DWG ignited the race for the first place. Let's hear from Showmaker and Canyon. Congratulations on the victory. In the pre-game interview, you guys mentioned that this is a must-win game. How do you feel about today's victory, Canyon? We didn't know we were gonna win in such a hasty fashion. It was a clean 2-0 victory, so I'm very glad about it. No, it's been a rivalry since back in the Challengers Korea as well. So, how do you feel, Showmaker? No, I've always had a bad time versus Chovy whenever I encountered him, so I'm very happy to take him down today. Because it was up against DRX that you guys are much more desperate to win. Were there anything specific that you guys prepped for this series? Nope. We just grinded out as many games as possible and just took some medications to calm ourselves down prior to the game. Did you guys try to stay poised throughout the entirety of the series, or what was it? No, I think we got too hyped in the last series and then we stumbled big time, so we try to maintain our composure and try to get through this series. So from game 1, DRX came out with very exotic picks, including the Senna Heimerdinger. Did you guys expect such picks, or was that something out of your boundary? We didn't know that they were going to use Heimerdinger. However, we prepped a lot of picks as countermeasures to theirs, so we weren't really afraid of it. So you guys were already predicting everything. It seems like Ghost has been unfazed with whichever champs that he used. Well, it was 28-3 in terms of kill scores in game 1. Is this the DAMWON from scrimmages that we always hear about? We thought it was going to be an uphill battle, and we really wanted to get the dub. I think our teammates allowed us to get the dub easily. It's about game 1 again. You had to face against mid Camille as Zoe. Well, what do you think about mid Camille in general? Because it came out sometimes, but it phased out completely recently. Chovy really enjoys using mid Camille. So once Camille was picked that early, I knew that it could be flexed. So I think facing against Chovy multiple times allowed me to take those into considerations. Alright, Canyon, when we talk about you, Lee Sin and Nidalee come up first. However, you have been outstanding with set as well. So let's check here. You two essentially made this play. So I was covering the mid lane. And the opposition went for a gank, so I just counter gank. And things just somehow went as accordingly. Was this a battle that you guys can win in the first place? Yep, it was. And I think the opposition didn't know about my presence and ganked the mid lane. What do you think about you being recognized as Korea's best jungler? That's not true. It may seem like that because of our laners' efforts. So it's overall a team effort. Alright, Showmaker, what about the going for that best mid laner in Korea? What about it? No. I don't mind that at all, and it's, my outstanding performance is due to the support and junglers' interventions. Wow, I was very astounded about your Galio pick. And in the voice comm, you mentioned that. Did you see the first time Galio in this split? What's your take on Galio? When Camille and Galio duo, Camille is much more important because we have Noguri as our top laner. So I played without much pressure at all. Once after you guys took the dragon, you guys you roamed towards the top by sacrificing the CS from the mid lane. Were those all calculated plays as well? No, our team composition has to orient around Camille, so Camille cannot fall back. So I don't need to farm with Galio. All I had to do is cover for Camille accordingly with Karthus. So as soon as I had the opportunity, I just tried to roam to the top and negate TF's roam play. Canyon, you pulled out the Karthus pick. 10.14. I mean, Spirit were the only ones used in Karthus. What do you think about Karthus as a champion? Do you think it's viable in the future as well? I think depends on the team comp, but it's definitely a decent jungler. So Karthus is very influenced by the laners. What are your takes on it? Well, as long as the Karthus is proficient at his gameplay, then it doesn't really matter. Do you see Ghost making the ceremony? Was he disappointed about not receiving POG? Well, Ghost, he made a solo kill in the bot lane as well, and he did a very great job. But my Galio wasn't too shabby, so I'll try to yield the POG to him in the next series. Alright, you guys are going up against Hanon Life in the next series. Alright, what's your resolution heading into the next series? Canyon? No, I think all the teams in LCK are very strong, so we'll just prepare as much as possible, just like how we have done, and take the dub. No, whenever we won in a clean sheet victories, so we're allowing people to go home ASAP. So I'll try my best for you guys to get home early by public transportation. Alright, we'll anticipate for that 10th 2-0 victory. Once again, congratulations. Alright, DAMWON taking the dub over DRX and narrow the gap between DRX. Alright, let's check out the standings and what changed.
Thank you, Brian. As always, good to hear from the guys from DAMWON. Getting everybody home sweet and early and on time. That's always Showmaker's #1 priority, and he absolutely was able to facilitate that here in this series. 2-0 as DAMWON. They're a game behind DRX.
Yeah.
In terms of they haven't played a game yet, and based off of what we saw, we're thinking that they're probably going to win that. And you can see the indicator score right next to the actual win and loss rate. If DAMWON have an equal score, they will be #1. So you would assume they will win, and we can kind of already call them the #1 team in the LCK just based off of this 1-2-0.
Yeah. I think they're definitely going to catch DRX, tie it, and then the points are going to speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's a very scary thing. DRX, it's unlikely they'll drop a series to anyone else in the LCK, given they already got Gen G out of the way. And I don't expect them to fall to T1 in their encounter. Speaking of T1, we got a telecom war coming up tomorrow. It's going to be KT versus T1 again, and then Sandbox versus DynamX, which that'll be another interesting tale to see where Sandbox is actually still going so far here in Summer. It's an important matchup for both of them. T1 really needs to win tomorrow, though.
Yeah. I mean, they dropped the game to Hama Life, and that's when people are really beginning to raise questions about T1 and exactly how good are they or how not good are they. They have to get some of that fan belief back. They need
Yeah.
to get people to believe in them to be able to take down the weaker teams. Otherwise, I mean, there's still 4 weeks left here in the LCK. There's still a chance. So either way, guys, thank you for joining us once again. We will see you tomorrow for more of the LCK. Have a good night.
World has changed and I am ready to take it on. You told me to be myself and never feel alone. You're all that I want, you're all that I need. If I was ever